Hello, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about when the world no longer sparkles. I feel like I want to talk about it, but at the same time, it's such a gloomy subject, and I don't know if it's going to sit with people well or not. But anyway, I want to talk about it because that's how I feel as I grow older, is that the world stops being sparkly. When I was younger, I felt like everything was sparkly, everything was so pretty and beautiful, but at the same time, I know I probably was infatuated and not well informed. Mostly when it comes down to like fangirling boys and idols, and your head is just so filled with a lot of chemicals that you feel like nothing is ever going to come close between this perfection that you have in your brain. But when you get older, it's so different. Like, I no longer see idols as this perfect being ever now because I've gone through a long list of why an idol can't be perfect. And that applies to just normal people as well. Even though I still fall onto that believe sometimes that some people are very kind, but I think that kind of ended last year in 2024, and now my beliefs are pretty firm when it comes to people. It's like no one is perfect, no one is kind to the degree of being a saint. Everyone has their own flaws, and you just have to accept that. And I feel that really makes my point of view about the world a bit dull because the world has stopped being sparkly. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Valerie, and I'm a solopreneur here on the internet, which means that I sell stuff. Mainly, I sell art and graphic designs. You can check out my links in the description box. On YouTube this year, 2025, I will do a lot of maybe yapping videos, which are like talking videos to the camera, just like this, and talk about basically everything and anything that I can think of. I still do vlogs every now and then, but not quite as often as I used to. In 2024, I did vlogs 5 days a week. So if you want to check out that playlist, it's available in the description box, or you can go to my channel and check out the playlist there as well. So yeah, so just going back to the topic now, I just want to talk about like how that change really makes me feel not good because when you have this sparkly filter when you see the world, I feel it makes you feel better about the world. It makes you feel like, oh, there are beauty in the world. But when you stop having this sparkle when you see the world, it feels like everything is dull, everything is ordinary. And there's nothing wrong with being ordinary. There's always beauty in the ordinary. But I guess I just want to have that feeling again, that feeling that things are perfect, and I can no longer obtain it. I can no longer obtain that something is perfect or something is 100% good, and they just feel like it's overwhelmingly pleasurable just by the thought of a person or by the thought of an idea. And that really makes me feel sad because I think, as someone who has gone through life with coping mechanisms such as maladaptive daydreaming, having filter, my sparkly filter taken away is so upsetting. Because, like, when I was younger, I was really I was really obsessed when it comes to idols or pretty girls or pretty boys, not pretty girls, pretty boys. Like, I really wanted to, hang out with the prettiest boy. And that's my type. My type is pretty boys. My type is not handsome and muscly guy. So idols are definitely a perfect type of men that I like. And I think my lesson came like because you have fantasies, right? You have fantasies of being loved by this person, and you will feel like you are on top of the world, that you have won a jackpot of some sort. But I feel I lost that altogether as I get older, because my brain developed fully, and I am definitely believe in reality a lot more than I do in my rose colored glasses, looking at these people and looking at these beautiful men, for example. I feel like despite, no matter how pretty or beautiful a man is or how handsome they are, I can no longer be infatuated with them. I can no longer feel like, oh my God, like I can no longer feel that way towards them. I can no longer think that way, because my brain no longer gives me a one-sided perspective. It's giving me like the full picture. It's like now it's showing me all the red flags as well. And at 41 years old, I am incapable of ignoring them, which is probably how you should operate when you were 20s or when you were in your teens, because that's the only way you're probably going to approach a man, or being surrounded with this idea that they're perfect, is by ignoring the red flags. But at 41 years old, that side of the brain is fully operational, and it's quite strong as well. It can no longer be ignored. So looks has become less important as you grow older, which is a shame because you still want your men to be pretty, or like if you want them to be handsome, I guess like that's the way it goes too. But unlike your younger version, you're no longer able to ignore their red flags. Like they might be complaining a lot, they might not be able to do a lot of housework, for example. They might not be able to hold a certain posture when you're outside, when you're out with them. Their insecurities might be showing too much. They might be criticizing women too much. They might be showing their hatreds towards women a little bit too much with what they say or how they say things. You can see they're nagging women a lot, probably, or they're still in their, I know like this one is extremely hypocritical of me. It's like that might be still freelancing at 40 years old, which I'm currently at. But as a woman, I feel like that's definitely a hypocritical thing to say, because I feel like the standard should be the same, right? Like as a 40-year-old woman, I should have some kind of direction in my life, etc., etc. um but I'm gonna claim that hypocrisy. But I feel like it's so different when you're 40-year-old man and you don't have any aim in life. And even though it works the same, probably it's like, they probably have chronic illnesses or maybe mental illnesses that makes them incapable to, move forward in that way. So I definitely am claiming hypocritical item here. But despite however they're good looking at 40, if they don't have direction in life, and they still live with their parents and still be dependent, again, I am a hypocritical person in this particular area of my judgment and critical criticisms. Of course, it just becomes very different, like your brain stop braining, your brain stop being infatuated. I think that's why, like, maybe 20-year-old would go for a 40-year-old handsome dude, even though they don't have any direction in life whatsoever. It's because in 20, I think, like, being having or surrounded by someone with good looks probably carries a lot more values in their system, in their like hierarchy of um, importance of life. But I think It's very different when you're 40, and I'm definitely accept the fact that, the world is probably judging me as well, like as a 40-year-old woman with no accomplishment of her own, and being single and no kids, and being ill, and, seemingly not doing much to contribute to society. So I completely, definitely, also see that, flip side of things. But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of want to have my naivety back, like in its fullness. I'm still naive to some degree, but I feel like I like that feeling of seeing the best in someone, or seeing the best in a situation. But when you're 40, seeing the best in a situation and seeing the best in someone usually comes with a price. The price being you're going to be very disappointed, and you are just going to be presented with something that is yucky at the end of that whole process. And it's not good. I think like by 40, you have experienced a lot of false promises, empty words, um, and, empty flatteries, all things backstabbing. You've been backstabbed a lot by people. You have gone through enough of narcissistic behaviors from people, controlling behaviors. You've just seen and interacted with a lot of people, and a lot of traits that is quite unpleasant. And I feel like that affected my ability to see sparkles in the world. Everything just feels dull. I feel like there's a lot of expectations when I see people, and I just think in my head, how is this person's gonna disappoint me? And rather than how is this interactions going to feel as if that it is, very uplifting and positive. And of course, like, especially when you grow older in this environment of social medias, like most millennials do, you also have seen probably a lot of differences when people present themselves in social media as this, I don't know, hypersexual or hyper successful or hyper happy person. And then you see them in reality, and they're completely different than how they're presented in social media. And you just feel like, oh, disappointed again, because nothing is kind of lift up to your expectations, or lift up to this image that you have in your head. And also that applies to you as well. And I feel like as you grow older, this sparkly filter glasses that you used to have has been replaced with dull black and white filter, and it's not nice. I kind of want it back though, because I feel like maybe that's why, like, we have midlife crisis, so we try to try something new, or break out of our mold. And we want that feeling of freshness, that feeling of possibilities, that things can be better, things can be beautiful, things can be I don't know, like, you experience it for the first time and it didn't disappoint, that experience, that feeling inside. But it's doesn't really happen that often. That doesn't mean that I don't chase it though. I still chase it, but I guess I'm doing it in little steps and little moments. Like, I know this is a bit boring, but man, like, making drinks, like, a few days ago I tried like a new drink from this Asian store, and it turned out to be a really good drink. I was expecting it to be bitter and to be sour and bitter. I don't know why. Why would people sell sour and bitter drink? But if when you're going to an Asian supermarket, you don't know what you're gonna get, which is probably a good thing. So, and then it turned out to be really fresh and sweet, and I was like really surprised. And I ended up going back to the store and buying a pack of six to consume, and that was like nice, and that was like a sparkly moment. But the sparkly moments usually come in this form these days, rather than in the form of people, which I'm not dismissing or rejecting at all. I'm going to take what I can get. But it'd be nice if it comes in a form of people, you know? I just want to be proven wrong. I want to be proven wrong when it comes to people are two-faced. I want to be proven wrong that people are selfish. I want to be proven wrong with my ideal that people are just really concerned about their public image. But in behind closed doors, they are quite rotten. I just want to be proven wrong in that regards, you know. I want to have interactions where my public interactions feel a lot less better than when I interact with them in more intimate setting. And I don't mean like intimate romantic way, but just like, in casual kind of private settings, and not when you are always being surrounded by a lot of people and with multiple eyes and ears. And you just want to, because people behave very differently when you are in like only the two of you, or when you're in a small group, than when they're in a big group, because they want to maintain a certain image. And people say, and project very different personas. I feel like I want to have people that project the same personas across the board in usual manners. Of course, like we always, you know, behave differently when we are in a very private manner, I guess, but not too much. I don't know. I just want someone that kind of lift up to that sparkly filter ideal, which is like, someone's nice, kind, and wise. But that doesn't come. Anyway, I know I'm rambling, but I just want some sparkle back into my life. And this is just me complaining and also discussing it. Hmm. If you're over 40, do you think, how do you keep up the sparkles? How do you keep up that belief that people are good, or how do you maintain it, that sparkle filter? Anyway, let me know. And also, if you are watching this, thank you. Also, a reminder, ING is offering $125 bonus cash for free for new customers. And if you want to check it out, you can go to the description box and find the link and see the steps that needs to be taken to get 125 free cash for new customers. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.